Coach, what was some of the points of emphasis you wanted to get across in half-court defense after the weekend's game?
Yeah, just we allowed people to drive through the paint. I mean, on offense, you want to get paint touches because that opens up everything else. And in that game, we allowed them to drive the ball to paint unchecked way too many times. And you know, I said this, and this is I'm a realistic coach. You're always gonna get honesty from me, and I'm realistic. And the truth is, if you look at results of this group, we've been out to play other teams 4 times. We had a scrimmage versus Rice, played Arizona State. We had 2 games. Then we then we had 1 away. And for the circumstances of our team, not all returners, all that. I thought in 4 of the 5, and players being out, we were probably a little ahead of where I thought they were going to be. Not where I want to be, not where we're going to be in years to come, but based on all the circumstances here. And then in the last one, we were significantly worse than I'd hoped for. And it didn't relate to the competition, some of the things that we did wrong. It was strange. And if this was in reverse, I'd be feeling pretty good. If it was Oak State game was first and we kept progressing to that, I'd be like, all right, we're moving in the right direction here. But the biggest thing was, me and Luke had talked before, that this group is not the best individual defending group. And I said it, when we're making shots and threes, we're going to be pretty tough, pretty good. And even in that game, if we came out there and started busting threes, been pretty good. But when we're not making those threes, because we're not just the best individual defenders, we're going to have to be really focused on locking up with team defense. And we didn't do either. We didn't guard on the ball well, and then our team defense wasn't great to keep people out of the paint. But I'll tell you this, we had a great practice yesterday with getting better at that. And that's got to be our emphasis, is how can we win when we're not making shots? Because that's going to happen on the road. And to win on the road, which is going to be the biggest challenge for this team, you got to have great defense that keeps people out of the paint.
You talked about the great practice. So would you say the response by your team has been a good one, or something that you're happy to see from them?
It was a great one. It really was. And I think because you got older guys, they have been through it, and they recognize it. They don't want to feel like that, right? But that's the first time they really saw real adversity together, on display on the road, hostile environment, and that couldn't stick to what we demand, which is continue to play hard and unselfish. And part of that unselfish play is being a great team defender. Yeah.
What do you think's been the most consistent areas through 3 games?
So I look at it like a 5-game stretch because I got to see some of the scrimmages. You know what I'm saying? And so I think for us, the consistency with our team is we are a good shooting team. There's no question on that. We haven't shot it as well as we're capable of. And there's going to be some nights when we shoot that ball, I promise you, and you're going to say, whoa, we're really good. And but we got to find ways where this group, with not a lot of great individual defenders, can become a solid half-court defensive unit. And I've consistently seen that. Not good enough in the half-court on defense, right? Press-wise, good. I mean, good considering hadn't done it long, right? I mean, turn teams over, and we're allowing, overall in the press, 0.85 points of possession overall, which is good. But our half-court defense last game was at 1.21. The national average is 1.07. Can't win like that. You can't win like that on the road when you're not shooting it well. So I've consistently seen that we got to get way better at that.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, so I was just gonna say, you're talking about there's not great individual defenders on this team, so you're gonna have to. So how easy of a fix is it to play the team defense you want? I mean, how quick of a fix?
Yeah, and I don't want to mean like I'm copping out or I'm knocking our defender. I'm saying that's not the strength of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes strength can be a shooter, maybe a B+ defender, but you wouldn't just walk in there and say, hey, that's the biggest lockdown defender in the country. You look at Ruben Dominguez, you think that's one of the best shooters there is, right? Well, the fix for that is not as easy short term as you hope, because if you're an individual great defender, lock him up. Don't let him get a step on you. That's pretty easy to do. But when it comes down to defense and rotations and all that, it takes some continuity. And that does take time. And Mac coming back will help with that significantly because he has the physical stature where, you know, when he comes over to help, it's different sometimes than someone that's 5 inches shorter coming over to help. But it will take time, and that's why I've been realistic about this group. I said there's going to be some days we look great, some days we don't look great. And but it'll start looking better and better on team defense the further we go along.
Speaking of McKenzie, are you guys expecting him to play Friday?
I think he'll be back sometime within the next 10 days, you know, in some capacity. You know, could that be Friday? Could that be next week? You know what? We'll see. But he was able to get out there yesterday, brought great energy to the practice. He was good. But same with Pop. You know, Pop got to play, but you could tell the chemistry was slightly off because he ain't got to practice. Probably going to be a little bit of a stretch there while he gets the chemistry back with the team and the team back with him. Fortunately, he was here this summer, you know, to practice some where Pop wasn't able to do that.
Is there a guy on your team that you feel like is maybe the best individual defender?
When Josh is locked in, Josh is a very good on-ball defender where we shouldn't have to help that much, right? And that's what you strive for, is where you don't have to put yourself in rotations. But the other part is, you know, part of coaching is learning your team. And that's why it does help when you have guys that have been there a while because you know your team. Well, we're learning this team. Like, hey, what can we be good at and how will we find ways to get stops? And so we're changing things as well to help this group. They all want to win. So I think you'll see us be much better at not allowing teams to get shots at the rim. I do know that.
Were you? Oh, go ahead. No, you said the way you played didn't have anything to do with you know, the opponent, but having a couple of Power 5 opponents here early on, I mean, how much does that help you think develop this? Yeah,
I don't mean the result wasn't. Yeah, the result certainly could we have played a lesser team and some of that been masked and won somehow. Yeah, for sure. But I guess what I meant by the standard, what we have to play to in that game, you know, what wasn't there. You know, all these teams, I think Oklahoma State in there, you know, they hadn't lost a non-league game there since 2023, right? It's Kyle Keller's been going to there for years and hadn't got a win yet in that scout. That's not an easy place to play. Florida State, you know, almost beat Florida last night. SMU looks good. Pitt won't be. So all these Power 5 games are going to be a real challenge. I will say this. We were one of the only teams in the country that was a Power 5 that played 3 games the first week. You know, we played Monday, Thursday, then Sunday on the road with travel. We had to do that because we had to fit the schedule because our schedule wasn't together at the end. That was a challenge for us. It's a challenge early in the year. I didn't put ourselves in the best chance to be totally fresh and dialed into that game, but I don't regret that because in the SEC tournament, you're minimally going to have to win 3 in a row to win a championship. That's for sure. But I did feel there was a fatigue factor in that game that you know I got to look at going forward, just how we manage a couple things with this group in the short term.
I felt like even given the result, the rebounding margin wasn't egregious, even for a team like Oklahoma State that has size. What's been your thoughts on this team's intensity rebounding the ball even without McKenzie? They're
fighting. You know, we're undersized. We do know that. We missed a lot of threes in that game, so we had some opportunities to go get them. I think they value possessions. I think our group does. The other side of that was we didn't have as many chances for defensive rebounds because we weren't getting as many stops, right? It does tell me that we have switchability. If you have switchability, you can stay out of ball screen rotations. And so we got to look at that more, switching more, and living with fighting to get rebounds. If you can stay out of rotations, that obviously makes life a lot easier. But McKenzie will add a lot to our rebounding coming back. And if you look at it, we got to have all our players rebound out of their area the way that Rashawn does. I mean, he sees ball, gets ball. We don't have enough players that do that right now.
Yeah, I'm curious, how much will the forward rotation maybe change or benefit from McKenzie's return as well?
Well, it'll help a lot. Like, I mean, like it'll help a lot in terms of being able to find ways to have your best players on the floor, and when he comes back, in his absence, we have to kind of play some guys out of position, and play a little undersized. When he comes back, I think you'll see a difference in guys playing roles they're way more comfortable in, if that makes sense to you. Guys will be able to play roles they're more comfortable in.
It seems like the topic's been a lot of just defense. What do you just want to see about, what do you want to see from the offense?
Yeah, good question. So we, in the first 6-7 minutes of that game, I thought we actually got really good shots in the first 6-7 minutes. And we didn't shoot well. We got the shots you want, and we just kind of, it just wasn't our deal. I think that affected how we played after that. We dug ourselves in a little bit of hole. We weren't making shots, and we saw adversity because of that. And instead of staying with what's made us pretty good in these other games, like 23 assists in some of these other games, some of our players felt that they needed to individually do a little bit more than necessary to get us back in the game. Probably wasn't selfishness as much as it was, I got to do a little bit more to try to help us, and it kind of snowballed on us. And you saw that sometimes on defense too. We're down, we take a chance we shouldn't have taken, and then end up getting buckets. But I'm gonna say this, we got to call this what it is. We are our strength as a team. We're limited in some areas. We are. The strength is shooting. We can't roll into places and expect to have a good offensive night when you have a bunch of shooters and shoot 25% from three. You can't be good on offense. I'm not saying you can't be good in the game. That's where you got to make up for it on the other end. But we're going to have some nights where we play that, when we may get some of the same shots, and we may look great, right? So I don't think it's one of these situations, particularly with McKenzie out, where it's like everything's got to change. I think the change has got to be, hey, we are what we are. We got to get more paint touches on offense, but when we are off, we really got to focus on that other end. We really got to focus even more on that other end and stay with it on offense. Don't feel it's your job to go isolation basketball.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you guys.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank